All right, welcome back to the Mad Monks. My name is Aaron.
My name is Chris.
And we are the Mad Monks. A future title to be decided, because we may or may not continue using that name. But no, never fear. There will be no change in your hosting duties. It'll still be me and Chris.
That's right.
Here with you around whatever metaphorical location works for you, be it the fireside, be it the lake house, or whatever. So today is this one's going to be interesting. I'm going to forewarn you. This one's going to swerve into politics. It's going to swerve into religion. It's going to swerve into culture.
Yep.
It's going to probably swerve all across the road. We're going to try and avoid hitting any deer or animals, and it'll put us into a ditch. But I make no promises.
We may knock their feet out.
There may be some stuff. So this is just your kind of. I will never issue a trigger warning on any podcast I run, but I will issue kind of like a heads up if the events of the last week, of the last 72 hours, have impacted you in any way. This is a conversation that's going to touch on all those things, and we're probably going to get in pretty close to center mass on this one.
Yep.
So just be aware of that as you listen. If you need to take a break, if you need to say, "Hey, oh boy, that's okay," I'm going to put a pause on that. Feel free to do so, but always return to the conversation so you can continue to understand and see a perspective that may not be your own, and that's okay, because we're all about agreeing to disagree and
that's right.
disagreeing to agree. It's the nature of the discourse. It's the nature of the rhetoric, and that's all I'm going to say there.
Very good. That was very good.
I'm a language arts teacher. I know how to wordsmith.
You can articulate.
I haven't heard that word in a while. I articulate good. I articulate well. Yeah, I was gonna say there are probably English teachers in the audience going into they're twitching like good. What? How dare you? I articulate well.
I was twitching a little.
Yeah, you did. You were like wait. Even Chris was like no, that's not how that works. So let's just start. Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Charlie Kirk. He was assassinated. I'm just going to say it.
Go ahead.
He was murdered.
I think this podcast probably is rated explicit, or will be. You'll have to change it to explicit at this point.
Yeah, I will change it to explicit
for this episode only.
There's no cuss words or anything,
but it's going to be a little bit intense.
It is,
because I'm pretty sure like what if the Apple or whatever services, they'll like listen to it, or they'll get a report this is explicit and they'll change the rating.
Yep.
Because a couple of we talked about suicide at one point, and that got an explicit rating.
It did.
So it's fine. Like we don't mind, but
I don't mind.
If you're wondering why, well, now you know why this has probably been rated explicit, because we're talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
We are, yeah. He so this was on Wednesday. He got assassinated by they're allegedly a 22-year-old.
Yeah,
and I don't even know where he lived. And
he lived 200 miles away in Utah.
So think about that.
And his dad was a part of law enforcement. Mom volunteered at a community organization. It's a whole. Yeah, we'll get there. So he had a bolt action rifle, so a hunting rifle, basically, not an AR, not an automatic, so Charles Cook is a writer over at the National Review. Charles Cook is a British national. Yep. But he got his United States citizenship about probably 10 years ago, or a little less than that, more or less on that. I don't remember the exact date. But Charles Cook is a incredible writer at National Review, and I really like his perspective because he comes from the British side of things. But he's also he lives here. He's an American. He's absolutely, he loves this country very much.
That's good. Yep.
And he made the point of saying, look, if this is the gun they're saying it is, this is a gun that's legal in England. Like, this is not a highly specialized weapon of choice.
No.
This is a bolt-action rifle.
Like a standard rifle.
Standard rifle that you use hunting. Like, if it's legal in England, of all places,
then it's going to be legal here.
It's going to be legal. Like, there's England has probably some of the more tighter gun ownership laws in the world.
They do.
And that's just the nature. So that's the weapon he used, and he was 200 feet away. More than
wasn't it 200 yards?
200 yards. Yeah,
that's a long ways.
200 yards. And there's footage of him before, like on like a shadow of him on the roof where he was. And the thing to know about Charlie Kirk is Charlie Kirk wore a bulletproof vest at all times.
Yep.
And this man knew this.
He did.
And so he shot where he wasn't protected.
Yep.
And then he ran like a coward.
He ran like a coward.
And then he tried to I guess we'll just kind of review this for a second. So 22-year-old, not a student at the school.
Nope, he wasn't.
But he lived 200 miles away with his father. Or I can't remember if he lived with his dad or he lived on his own, but he lived with his basically, his dad like saw the images that they finally put out and was like, "That's my kid. Okay, I need to talk to you." And he consulted with his pastor. And his father, I think, either is former or current law enforcement of some kind in his county.
Yep.
And his son was like, "I'm going to kill myself." He's like, "No, you're not. Like, you're turning yourself in." And so there's been a lot of conversation about within this story about the father who had the courage to take his hand and said, "Look, you need to own this. You have killed someone. You need to take responsibility for your actions."
Facts.
And so he got his kid to turn himself in peaceably to the police, and with the help of a pastor who advised him, and he made sure his son was secure. He made sure his son was not going to try and kill himself, and so he got him turned in. And the father refused the reward. So the reward was at $100,000 from the federal government, and the father said, "No, I don't want the reward."
Why would I want the reward?
Here's the part of the story, and we'll get back to Charlie Kirk in a second. Here's the part of the story that's going to be really an interesting piece. So the kid was arrested. The police were talking to him, and then he lawyered up, and the guy's gone silent. He has not cooperated with the police any further. Here's the thing: is if his son confessed to him what he did, they're going to have to call the father in to testify and
against
say, what did your son say exactly under oath? Tell us what he said. And that father is going to say, my son told, allegedly, this is all alleged, to be clear, the father's going to be like, my son told me he killed Charlie Kirk. That's hard.
Think about that from a dad's perspective.
Like you've raised this 22-year-old to the best of your ability. There's talk that he got radicalized. The son got radicalized somewhere along the way. The radicalization is not what some folks on the left are saying it is. It's actually he was radicalized into the left, and a lot of ideas from the left, like the bullets had inscriptions and things that were connected to leftist ideologies. And I think that's the part that's really sticking in people, because they can't, like a lot of folks, certain folks on the left have been tying themselves in knots over the last 48 to 72 hours, trying to turn this back on Republicans. It's like, well, actually, no, this one isn't. This is entirely an issue of ideology, and not just ideology, but of invective and rhetoric and discourse, and how the conversation has been from certain faces and certain mouths about what we need to do with the right, what we need to do with people, what we need to do. He is in custody. They will charge him. He is under watch, whatever.
Yep.
So having said that, we'll start with, so Charlie Kirk was a couple things. He was a conservative commentator. He started Turning Point USA as a co-founder.
He did, yep.
When he was 18 years old or 19 years old.
I think he was 19.
Yeah, yep. There's video of him talking at the formation of it and what they were looking to do and what they wanted to do.
It's brilliant, actually.
It is, because it was formed on college campuses, and the idea was, hey, your conservative ideas, if you have these, and if you're Republican or you're conservative, this is your house, this is your home, this is where you can come and be a part of a community and support and mature and grow, and stuff like that. And so Charlie Kirk is he formed it and he built it, and then in the last 10 years, I think it's been 10 years plus, he has made the business of going from college to college and holding Q&A sessions.
Brilliant dude, man.
And we were talking off air about this. What he would do is he would tell whoever's in charge of the microphones, he would say, okay, if you have someone in the line who disagrees with me, send them to the front. I want to talk to them first. They were first. They were always first.
Always, yeah.
And then if once all the people who disagree with him had come through, then he'd be okay, now the people who agree with me, let's talk, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you. But he primarily tried to focus on people who disagreed with him. And if you watch his videos, again, nobody's perfect, but overall, 90% of the time of what I feel, he was respectful.
He was.
He was real.
A couple times he got a little...
Yeah, but I think because he was upset, because sometimes people would say certain things and be like, wait, I'm sorry, you're saying this? Like, some of the conversations centered around abortion and that idea.
Yeah.
And he would get fired up about that.
Yeah.
And because his righteous indignation came out of those moments.
I did.
So he would make a business of doing that, and so he became known. Like there are videos. If you go to Charlie Kirk, YouTube, you go to Turning Points USA, Turning Points UK. Like there are videos of all his conversations. I've
watched a lot of them.
He actually went on. So Jubilee is a YouTube channel where they like say a conservative or with 30 liberals and a liberal with 30 conservatives.
Oh yeah,
there's been complaints about Jubilee's format and that it doesn't.
I don't agree with it.
It doesn't work because they have like these flags where they can say, okay, that person's out. Like, and so when a conversation is actually getting good and like thoughtful,
they stop it.
They like, oh, we don't want, no, let's just stop the conversation and bring in somebody else to talk to it. And so it's a really flawed format.
It is.
But I think Charlie Kirk did an episode of Jubilee.
He did.
Yep. And it was interesting to watch how loudly they were after him, and how calm and cool and collected he was for the most part. Yeah. Where it was like, okay, and he would like, and there's footage of him where he's debating someone at a college campus, and it's a recent video that came out where she was like, "You're just interrupting me," and he just went quiet, and why not? And she just kept going back to, "Well, you interrupted me. You're not listening to me," and he's just like,
not saying a word,
and she just keeps being the victimization of why, and he's just letting her. He's like, okay, go. Like, tell me what you think.
Tell me something.
And she couldn't. She was just eternally stuck in this victimization cycle of, well, you didn't let me talk. You interrupted me. And he's not. He's just
he's not saying a word.
But because he understood what she was trying to do, he knew she was trying to claim the victim. She's trying to get her viral moment where, oh, well, Charlie Kirk shouted over me. Well, he's not. He's letting you speak. He's giving you the room.
And you're acting like an idiot.
You're acting like a child.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's exactly right.
So the element of Charlie Kirk is that he was fair but firm, that he was reasonable, that he was, but he was also a Christian. That was entirely a part of his identity.
That was I think, the best part of him.
Yeah, and I mean, he was always unflinching in his beliefs. Like, I am a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe these things. This is an important value to me, and this is what powers my life. There have been interviews over the years where people have asked him, what, and it's a chilling video now where someone asks him, what do you want to be remembered for? And his statement was, I want to be remembered for my faith and my family. And it was just so Turning Point USA put out a tribute video, I think yesterday. And it was like, I got emotional watching it. And partially because the way that Charlie Kirk presented himself, I think, was who he was. There was no pretense. There was no like, oh, this is a fake Charlie Kirk.
No. He was who he was.
Right. Yeah. And I think people appreciate that. But the reason why he impacted so many is because when you watch his videos and you watched his stuff, you felt like you were in the room with him. Yeah. Because he was just that genuine, that interesting, there was that curiosity, but also that like, hey, he's speaking to me. He's not yelling at me. He's talking. We're having a conversation. And so a lot of people, a good portion of the population right now, and you and me included, we have this heaviness that we're feeling.
Oh, it's heavy, all right.
And I was talking with someone at my coffee shop this morning. If you've spent any time watching Charlie Kirk, you're feeling something right now. And I think a lot of some folks on the left or center left or far left who are repeating, oh, well, he was xenophobic, they've never actually watched him. They're just repeating the messages that they've given. They never had a chance to sit down and actually watch, okay, what did Charlie Kirk have to say about this? Where's the video?
Tells the truth.
Where is he at on the spectrum? What do we not? What do we know? They've never watched him. They're just repeating. And a lot of what you've seen over this last 72 hours where people have been posting on social media things about him and saying, and then automatically they're either fired or suspended or terminated or done because it's like, no, you don't get to cheer on the death of a good man. Like, that's not how it works.
This is murder. This is not
assassination. It's not even. It's assassination. This little 22-year-old kid, fled, and they had video of him fleeing the roof and running away.
Coward, bro.
And it's like, stand there and put your hands up and say, "Yep, I did it." But no, you're a coward. You can't own up to your own murderous actions.
That's exactly right.
And so,
what, did you think you were going to get away with it?
Apparently he did. So there's some conversations about Discord, and he was in a Discord channel or Discord conversations with somebody, and he told them what was I have a gun. I've put it there. I need you to, go take care of it or whatever. And he like the shooter watched his gun, like it's a whole thing. So there was a Discord kid or someone who's talking to Discord who sold him out, who sent the information to the FBI and said, "Hey, here's what I know. Here's what I've been told. Because I don't want this on me. Like I don't want to be a part of this. I'm not helping this dude." And so a lot of good people have turned on him to make sure that he receives the justice that he has allegedly deserved. Because again, everyone's innocent until the court of law. So yeah,
I don't know that it was him. I don't.
It was, but allegedly, it pretty much is. Yes.
Yeah.
Because they basically said, yeah, we got him. So I guess for you, Chris, because I've been talking for a while now.
Yep.
And I know
I've been enjoying it.
Yeah,
too.
I'm glad you're enjoying my wandering conversation. But you had mentioned that you were the one that said you wanted to talk about Charlie Kirk today. So I want to give room to you to kind of talk, and then I'll jump in if you need me to or whatever. Because it's heavy.
It's very heavy. So that's what we're going to talk about. So basically
15 minutes in, we finally get around to letting Chris talk.
Which is okay.
Which is pretty normal for this podcast.
It is. But it's okay because,
right.
We both have different perspectives, but we agree on a lot of things.
Yeah, we do.
And to say that he was assassinated, I believe is a fact.
Yeah.
He absolutely was. And here's the part that bothers me the most, I think, is that he was exercising his right to free speech.
Yeah.
We all have the right to believe what we want. But if we as Christians ignore the truth.
Yeah.
So like I was watching a video this morning and I was like, what in the world is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Like they took the scripture and took it all the way out of context.
Yeah.
And it's like we as Christians have to point these things out. Like you can't, when we see a falsity, we have to point it out. And so Charlie Kirk I agreed with 99.9% of what he said. I mean, I am a conservative. I really am.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I think, like my wife is an immigrant, right? She came to this country when she was 3 years old, out of no power of her own. And I don't agree that she should get deported. She's been here for almost 40 years now.
Yeah.
And so there's like some things I agree with and some I don't. But overall, I agreed with a lot of what Charlie said. I agree that abortion is murder. Yeah. I agree. I absolutely will agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, God gives. And what's funny to me is that I really want to touch on this because I want people to understand that life is a gift, man. It is an absolute precious thing. God himself in the beginning breathed the breath of life into us. Yeah. He gave a part of himself to us. Mm-hmm. And that is a precious, precious thing that he's done. And to just take somebody's life like that, I don't know how you can do that. I don't understand how you go from this part, from like thinking about it to doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that. I just don't understand. Me personally, I don't get it. I don't understand. Yeah. And I have cried a lot. I will say that. I will admit that I have a lot.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't sleep for 2 days. I haven't been able to sleep. I've been horribly sad. I don't know why. I had one of my friends die a couple weeks ago, and I've been more sad over Charlie than I have him.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I think it's because of the terms in which he died, and the what he stood for. Like I just don't know, man. I am very sad about this. And I'm praying that God will give me peace on it because it's getting better, right? It'll take time to get better, but I just I'm at a loss for words, man. I just don't know what to say because you lose somebody like that has changed so many people's lives. It's like John MacArthur died.
Yeah.
I was horribly sad about him too.
Yeah.
But he died of natural causes, so that's a little bit different.
Yeah, if you watch his last sermon that he delivered at Grace Community Church, he's not well. And he made a video after that where he was supposed to be at a conference that he usually attends, but his statement was he was on the last lap. And he was like, I recognize that this is probably closer to the end.
Yep.
Within a short couple of months, a month or so, he was in bed, and then he was gone. I think the thing about Charlie Kirk is that he impacted a lot, like you said. But I think what's weighing, because I in conversations with multiple people over the last 72 hours, the conversations always come back to like he was a good man. Mm-hmm. He was good. He wasn't a controversial figure in the respects of many others. Yep. He was thoughtful. He engaged with everybody. There was
pretty incredible.
There was no pretense to it. And it's I think the righteous indignation we feel, because even I was talking to somebody in the coffee shop. I'm like, it's been 72 hours now. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 4 times 12 is 48. Yeah, 48 hours.
48 hours.
It feels like longer all of a sudden.
It does.
48 hours removed. I still can't shake it.
I can't either.
And I was talking to the lady in the coffee shop this morning. She's like, it's still heavy on my heart. It's still,
that's crazy.
I can't shake it. And I think it's because part of it is we're all old enough to go, holy crap, this is intense.
I've never seen anything like this before, ever.
And I think that's because we're so used to I think Donald Trump, his attempted assassination, or 2 attempted assassinations, the one that we watched live.
A lot of them. Yeah.
I think that was as close as we got. And that shook people for a while. That was like, holy crap, our presidential candidate almost got wiped out by a crazed lunatic. Yeah, twice. So I think we've escaped the death that would follow from that long, and then to have this happen out of nowhere.
Yep.
That's the part that is just hanging over us.
Yeah,
we've lost a friend, and you and I,
brother in Christ.
Yeah, brother in Christ, and I think as Christians, there's been a kind of a reckoning now in the last 48 hours of he openly did. He preached God. He preached Christ. He preached Jesus. But he also tied that in with like reasonable politics and thoughtful conversation.
I completely agree with his platform.
Yeah,
I do. It makes perfect sense.
It's forgive me, but there was almost like just kind of a pure kindness or pureness of his heart,
pureness
to him. Like there wasn't a lot of, from our perspective. Now others on the left or far left have expressed this over the last 48 hours to my disgust.
Yeah, mine too.
About his character and besmirching his character on things that are either not true or half true or are not even correct attributions to his words.
Completely wrong. Yeah.
Is that there's not and I think that's part of why it's all heavy, because there's literally no defense for his assassination. There's nothing in God's earth, heaven or hell or earth or whatever, that validates that action. And I think that's that righteous indignation we were talking about off air before we got on, is we're all righteously indignant on a man who was 31 years old, had two kids, a wife, and was...
And a great platform,
and was doing incredible things, and was back on the circuit. He was back at colleges. He was scheduled to be at CSU next week.
He was, yeah.
And
he absolutely
another
was.
part, so he was that part. I think is also like there wasn't a swan song here. Like he was still going. He was 31. He had the rest of his life ahead of him.
He did.
And I think I think the piece of the puzzle of the fact that his children will grow up without a father. And his wife now she made a statement last night, and it's pretty powerful. She's still like at that point it was 32 hours after the assassination.
She was horrible, dude. It was horrible.
She was rough, but she was very passionate. She was like, "You thought you took the message away. It's only going to get louder.
It's way louder now.
We will continue to like." She was very much like, "No, this is," and I think people forget, like, Charlie Kirk was one part of the relationship. The other side was his wife, and people have been saying, you thought Charlie Kirk was one half of the equation. His wife was the other half.
She's very loud.
She's passionate, and she knows her business. She knows her stuff. And so I think
Candace Owens
oh boy, don't even start with Candace Owens. Candace Owens, I disavow completely.
Oh really?
Yeah. She's gone anti-Semitic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Candace Owens has made false allegations against the French Prime Minister and his wife.
That's bad.
We're taking a swerve for a second because I'm going to call this one out. And because you have known,
I did not know this.
Candace Owens is absolutely anti-Semitic. She has gone full blood libel on the Jewish people. She alleges, and she is now in a lawsuit the that she traffics in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why she was fired from the Daily Wire. There's a reason why Ben Shapiro has distanced himself from her.
That's why.
There's a reason why all of those people have said, nope, not in our house. You're done. Get out.
That's crazy.
And so she's trying to play this victimization of, oh, I'm speaking the truth and they're shutting me down. No, you're speaking lies and you're trafficking in anti-Semitic conversations.
That's serious business, man.
It's absolutely serious.
That's very serious.
I have a friend I teach with who is Jewish, and there's a reason why I wear the Star of David next to my wedding ring on my necklace, because I absolutely will not put up with that, and I will, without question, condemn it in every sense of the word. So I'm sorry if I'm sounding. I'm not sorry that I'm sounding.
You're not intense, sorry. Don't be sorry.
But I'm going to call that out. Here's the thing about Candace. She started out in the same venue, in the same world as Charlie Kirk.
She did. She really did.
But for whatever reason, something happened, and she lost her mind, and she swerved into the content. And the Daily Wire was like, I'm sorry, no.
That's why they let her go.
That's why they let her go. And that's why
I didn't know that.
And Ben Shapiro, who is Jewish,
he absolutely
he's like very Jewish, like Yarmulke Jewish, like Star of David, like dude's Jewish. Like there's no, he is full on. And for her to think that that's okay, and then to be like, oh, why, how dare you? It's like, I'm sorry. When you so blood libel are lies that's based in blood, like it's an absolute falsification of what happened, but you're using it to libel the Jewish people, and you're using it to try and gin up support for you, and to gin up the anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic or anti-Zionism, whatever you want to call it.
Why would you be anti-Jewish? I don't understand that.
All right, we'll take a swerve.
Let's swerve.
Part of why I think is because it's easy to blame somebody for all the problems in the world. And
yeah, that's true.
The reason why it's done is because it's been done for years, thousands upon thousands of years. The Jews are the problem; they are the issue. The Nazis, they identify.
That's what they said.
They identify, and again, this is absolutely not. This is not. Again, there's no. We're not saying this is okay. There's just no what the Nazis came up with when they said the final solution, because for thousands of years, people who are anti-Semitic, people who are anti-Jewish, people who are anti-Zionism, always said, "Oh, well, there needs to be a solution for the Jewish problem. We need to figure out the Jewish problem." The Jews have been kicked out of kingdoms. They've been kicked out of there has been a campaign against them for the longest time. Fun fact: in World War II, Joseph Kennedy, who was the father of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, all the Kennedys, Joseph Kennedy was absolutely anti-Semitic and was a Nazi sympathizer.
Didn't know that either.
Welcome to my world, Chris. It's a fun place. I
don't sound very fun to me.
I follow rabbit trails, and I investigate and I dig into. And yeah, Joseph Kennedy was absolutely anti-Semitic and absolutely a Nazi sympathizer. There was a Nazi.
I don't like him very much.
There was a Nazi rally in the 30s in New York. I don't think he was in attend. Oh yeah, this is.
Oh, now I got to go down a big rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's so. And I don't think John F. Kennedy Jr. was anti-Semitic or anti. I haven't done a deep dive there. I do know that he and Marilyn Monroe had an affair, which is not acceptable.
Absolutely not acceptable.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works. So what? Here's the thing: is anti-Semitism, for whatever reason, it keeps coming around. It never is fully gone, and so
it's like, why?
Because it's easy. And here's the thing.
Absolutely wrong.
But it's because people look. This is a theory. This is my own theory. I'm sure there's an actual scientific theory. It's whatever. But it's so easy to blame somebody else for the world's problems. It's the Jews. It's the Jews. It's like, no, it's not. But people believe, like, well, they're in the banks. This is where it starts, okay? So people believe that all the Jews control the banks. That's not true. That's not the case.
Nope.
There are Jewish banks and Jewish organizations that have been very successful, but that's not a mark of their cultural status or their religious
their guilt
or any of that. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just they've been successful. But because they're successful and they aren't, oh, well, they're the problem. They're the cause of my downfall. They're the cause of my problems. I'm not rich like them, so that's that. It's the Jewish. The Jews
their
have done
fault.
It. Their fault, which is absolutely and unequivocally wrong, to be very clear.
Wrong.
And it's not even borderline. It's dumb. It's stupid. It is absolutely asinine and stupid and low intellectual value. There's nothing good that can be said about anti-Semitism. It's an absolute trailer park. Sorry, trailer. What's the word I'm looking for?
Trailer park fire.
No, trailer park fire. Whatever. Not trailer park, because that's not nice. I apologize. I was looking.
Sorry,
dumpster fire. There it is.
There you go.
I was not trying. Please accept that apology. Full-throated from me. I did not mean that. I was looking for dumpster fire. I hit trailer park fire, but dumpster fire. There we go. It's an absolute dumpster fire of stupidity.
It is. Yeah.
It is the lowest it's the lowest denominator of intellectual thinking.
It's as bad as racism.
I can't even call it intellectual because it isn't. It is. There's no brain power involved because stupid. Simple research will tell you, oh no, that's not true. Oh, here's the actual reality, or here's what's going on, or here's what happened. And so, to your point, again, on the rabbit trail of anti-Semitism, which ties into Ben Shapiro a little bit.
It does. Yep.
And Charlie Kirk as well. But it's easy. And in a lot of cases, and I've experienced this in my own life, in this community, that anti-Semitism usually follows a low educational status.
It does.
So if you have, graduating high school and going to some kind of school where you critically think or do some critical thinking, either college, trade school, whatever, generally you rise above that because you start to learn how to think about things critically versus just going, oh, I saw a meme on the internet, the Jews are to blame. Like you rise above that because you don't think like that anymore because you have an elevated sense of understanding and your intellect has been sharpened.
Ooh,
against.
I have a good one for this.
Against that. Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh. So when I lived in the mountains of Georgia.
Okay.
And there is this thing where they believe that they're country bumpkins and that people from the mountains are stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And I know this for a fact because it happened to me.
Yeah.
And if anybody ever knew my dad, my dad was a genius.
Yeah.
An absolute genius.
Yeah.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
And he was kind and he was very, very smart. And it's like nobody ever takes the time to look at somebody's position, where they're at.
Yeah.
Like we lived in the mountains because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
Right.
That's where God wanted us to be. So my dad moved from North Carolina to Georgia.
Yeah.
That's how he owned like 7 acres.
Yeah.
That property's worth like $400,000 or $500,000. He paid like $40,000.
Yeah.
Who's the stupid one now?
Yeah.
Well, he's dead, but
right. But he was smart. Well, and
he was. Yeah. It's a stereotype.
It is. It's absolutely a stereotype.
It is.
And it's the worst kind.
It is the worst kind.
Because there's no truth in it.
Yeah.
There's no truth to the stupidity of the South. Yeah. There's no truth to this to the machinations of maniacal plans by Jews. There's no truth to it. But because it's easy to blame someone else for your problems.
It is.
And that you're not responsible and someone else did this and they did this and that's that. And it infects you to the point where you believe others over the Jewish situation in the Middle East right now, and you believe that we should do a free Palestine. Well, unfortunately for you, free Palestine means you wipe out the entire nation of Israel. Like they don't get that. I've watched interviews from like a lot of college campuses where people are like, "Hey, do you understand the phrase from the river to the sea?" And the students are like, "Well, we chanted it." I was like, "Yeah, but do you understand what it means?" Well, no.
That's all of Israel.
Well, here's what it means: from the river Jordan to the sea, like that's all Israel. And they're like, oh, and they're like, oh, do you want to cheer that now? And they're like, I don't know. But because we're not critically thinking, we're not thinking beyond the message that's being given to us by others, similar to the situation of the assassin, is that the message that he was given was Charlie Kirk is a hate monger. Charlie Kirk does hate speech, which frustrates me to no end. There's no such thing as hate speech. Because here's the thing. Who defines what hate speech is? Hate speech is. Where's the definition? And where does the line get drawn?
Valid point.
So if I make a statement of I believe Kamala Harris was not fit to be the president of the United States, someone could validate and say that's hate speech. You need to go to jail. Currently in the United Kingdom, if you make a post on Twitter that is quote unquote offensive or whatever,
who defines offensive?
The government does. You get arrested and put in jail for a year.
Oh, that is.
It actually happened.
Stupid.
It happened. There was a comedian who was in the United States and made a couple of tweets critical of some folks and made some transgender kind of statements. He landed in Heathrow and was immediately taken into custody by 5 armed British police. And they then sat him down and interrogated him for the better part of 5 to 6 hours. Dude has high blood pressure and had to be taken to the hospital to have his blood pressure managed because he was so freaked out by what was happening.
Oh my!
But again, who decides what's hate speech, and how do we then criminalize that, and then how do we prosecute that? When you look at that kind of stuff, you go, that's terrifying, because the definition is made by those who are in power.
And that's bad.
That's terrifying.
That's horribly bad.
Because your view of hate speech may be different than mine.
Yep.
And we can't create a sliding scale.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to say something along those lines, I believe that transgender is not appropriate. I believe that it's, not whatever. If hate speech was to be defined as you speaking out against transgenderism or speaking out against whatever, well, now you've broken the law.
Yep.
And now when this goes out and it's listened to and someone reports you, because that's what happened with him. Someone reported his posts to the police and said, he's breaking the law. You need to arrest him. Now, you know this. In the United Kingdom, in the police department, police officers aren't usually armed. The ones that are armed are the elite. Like when they're armed, they're going into something bad.
They're like the SAS.
Right. They're going in because something bad. They need to be armed for a reason.
Yep.
So when 5 armed police officers meet you at the academy to arrest a comedian for making jokes on Twitter, appropriate or not, the hate speech law in the United Kingdom said, nope, you're arrested. Now, they released him, and there's been a lot of conversation about this is not good, and there's actually some people in government who are like, we might need to adjust this because this is bad. This is bad. We're in trouble. But there are protests now in England. This morning, I saw a photo of the protests in London that was insanely large. And so people are starting to turn. I mean, the government has their own issues in England. There's a whole list. We won't go into that too much because we're talking about Charlie Kirk today. But my point is that there are people on the left who, because Charlie Kirk was assassinated, were like, yeah, he's dead now.
That's disgusting.
He deserved it. He had it coming. And someone said, you traffic in violence, you get violence. Or you traffic in this, you get this. And it was just like, what? But again, it's that sliding scale of, okay, well, what's hate speech to you and me?
Yep.
May not, or what was hate speech to them and deserving of violence. For us, it's like, okay, well, that's just another Tuesday. He's speaking his mind. He's using his First Amendment rights to speak his mind.
It's
and
his right to do it.
And he's not yelling fire in a crowded theater because that's not good. That's actual criminal prosecutable speech.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah, because you've now created a stampede. Like, there's a whole thing there. But Charlie Kirk was never rose to the level of, oh, someone's going to do something because Charlie Kirk said this.
No.
Nobody ever took action on and shot somebody or did something violent to somebody directly connected to something that he explicitly said or suggested. That never happened. And to have people suddenly, when he dies, get on Twitter, get on social media, get on Facebook, get on it, and say, yeah, he deserved it. Yeah, world's better without him. Hey, we should send gifts to him, to the assassin. Like, oh my gosh, yeah. What?
Oh.
What are you doing? And so that's, I think, part of why we react also the way we're reacting now. Is that
I'm angry. I'm mad, man.
There is that righteous indignation, and we don't know what to do with that anger. We don't want to violently strike out because that would not be honoring Charlie Kirk's legacy.
It wouldn't.
And I mean to be very clear for those who listen, however few or many of you there are right now.
Yep.
There is no justifiable reason for a violent response to Charlie Kirk's death.
Because
without question, no, there is no pretense. There is no hidden message here.
Nope.
Absolutely condemn any act of violence connected to any political statement or political movement or political person.
Yeah.
It left, right, or libertarian or whoever, there is absolutely no reason anyone should face violence and or assassination or death for their beliefs. Without question. Ever.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, if we call Kamala Harris got assassinated tomorrow, the right would be celebrating. No, we'd be heartbroken.
I wouldn't want. I don't want nobody to die.
No life should be. And here's the thing. There was a statement on Twitter. I'm just going off on a tangent. Well, it's not a tangent, but there was somebody on Twitter a couple days ago who said there shouldn't be a but. It should just be, I'm sad that Charlie Kirk is dead. Period. Not, oh, I didn't really agree with him, but no, there is no quantification.
Sad,
you were just sad because he's dead.
Horrible, man.
He's dead because his beliefs, because somebody wanted to silence him. So you saying, but yeah, I mean, I didn't agree with those policies, but no, there's that doesn't work.
He's dead, man.
He's gone. He is lying. He was probably dead before he got to the hospital. He was in his there was no chance he was going to live through that. As people were watching the video, and I avoided watching the close-ups because people were like, "Yeah, that's a lot of blood," and so people were like,
I never watched it.
I don't.
Won't.
It's not worth your time.
I won't watch it.
I have not revisited it. But there's no reason. And so yeah, if anybody, like when the Democratic representatives got murdered in their home a couple months ago, that was horrifying.
It's terrible.
Heartbreaking. No one deserves that.
No.
Josh Shapiro's government mansion was set on fire in an attempt to kill him because he's Jewish. He's a Democrat. That's horrifying. No one should face that kind of violence.
Kill somebody. I don't get it, man.
I don't. The worst case is that I do, but I absolutely, without question, disagree with it. But I understand why people, because they're sold out. Well, he's Jewish, and the Jews are the problem, and I'm going to kill him.
And that's what it always comes back to, though, right?
You strip the humanization of the person that you're attacking.
You do.
Josh Shapiro and his family to the attacker was not human anymore. He was subhuman. The Democratic representatives in Minnesota who were murdered, the person who did it didn't view them as human anymore. The killer who killed the assassin who killed Charlie Kirk didn't view Charlie Kirk as human.
Didn't. No.
He deserves to die. He's doing hate speech. That makes him not human. He's not like. You removing someone's humanity, their God-given humanity.
Facts. Come on now.
You will lose.
Tell us, Aaron.
You will lose the ability to reason. And you will do things that you never thought possible because you've taken away their humanity in your mind. You stripped them of the honor and dignity that they deserve at a base level, and you've taken that. And in every, like Pelosi, when her husband was attacked, it was awful. It was horrifying. A hammer, like bashing, like man had to go into surgery. That's horrifying. No politician should face any threat of violence for anything they say. It's not how it works. Stripping away humanity is what got us into trouble in the first place. When the Nazis, when they took away the Jewish identity and they said, no, they're subhuman. We can do this. In the days of slavery, when the government and the church and scientists said, oh, they have measurements that are not human, they're inhuman, they're subhuman, that makes slavery okay. So when we talk about their humanity, they're not really human, so we can say that it's okay. No! At no point does anybody who strips people of their humanity win. You lose every single time. And that's what's happening right now is we are finding people and discovering people who didn't view Charlie Kirk as human.
That's exactly what it sounds like. It does.
They absolutely don't think that he had a right to live. He said things that were against my beliefs. He deserves to die. What happened?
How did you get to that point?
People are broken, Chris. People are broken.
Sin is
and
terrible.
we have discovered this in the last 48 hours more than any time in our history that people are absolutely broken.
They are.
And people who are not like just Joe Schmoes on the street. We're talking there across the country, and I've seen it on Twitter. There are teachers, there are college educators, there are people in power, there are people in administrative positions in communities. There are people who are well known in their community who have come out and said these absolutely vile things about Charlie Kirk and deserving it. And 95% of the time they're getting fired. Because those companies, those towns, those schools, they're like, no, that's not okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember if I mentioned this on air or off air, but the NFL at one of their games, or a couple of their games, held moments of silence for Charlie Kirk and his assassination. The NFL.
Man, that's crazy.
When the NFL takes it serious enough to say, this is not okay.
Yeah. You know it's serious when they take it seriously.
And there are a good number of high-ranking Democrats who have come out and said this is unacceptable, political violence is unacceptable. Part of why, and this is my feeling, this is not stated in fact, part of why I think they're realizing, oh God, because they're terrified. There was an article that came out, I think either on Hot Air.
Could be them next.
Well, that's what the worry now is.
Yeah.
The worry is, oh God, this is real. And it's like, yeah, well, this is what happens when you weaponize speech. When you say, we need to take these Republicans out, we need to take these Democrats, it can be a both sides of the issue, but I feel, it's an I feel statement, that a lot of that invective has come from the left. We need to get rid of those Republicans. They need to get out. We need to get them out of office, no matter what it takes. Get them out of office.
But then because like for me, I may not agree with everything that people say on the left. I don't.
Right.
But at no point should their life ever be taken.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go from disagreeing to killing them. I don't know how you make that transition.
But I don't, like, personally, I will never understand it. But I also understand we're in a broken world, and we are in such a broken world that if this had happened 10 years ago, we would have been brought to our knees.
We would have.
We would have been like, oh God, what has happened to our country?
Yeah.
But it's 10 years after, and we've had multiple attacks. We've had school shootings.
It's sad though, isn't it?
We've become where desensitized.
Yeah.
But this one didn't. This one doesn't. Yeah. For whatever reason, actually, no, I know the reasons. For the reasons, as I stated before, and I will probably continue to state, we all felt this. Because
I don't understand why, though. I don't know why.
Because Charlie Kirk was this is going to sound really, really like corny, but Charlie Kirk was the best of us. Because he reasonably engaged with the opposition.
He did, yeah.
And he didn't view them as the opposition. He viewed them as people to talk to.
He did.
He continually went back to places to talk to people because he knew that was the way to make a difference.
He viewed them as human beings.
He never once stripped them of their humanity.
He did not. Nope, he didn't.
He never once said, "Oh, you're not human. You're lower than me. You're not. Oh, you're." No, that wasn't a part of his conversation. It wasn't a part of his dialogue. It wasn't a part of his rhetoric. It wasn't part of his discourse. No. He was routinely engaging with folks who disagreed with him, and he was okay with the disagreement. He's like, "Okay, well, you don't have to believe. If you don't believe what I believe, okay, but that's wrong. But okay, moving on."
I got evidence.
But okay, we can. You don't have to agree with me because that's not my job here. My job is just to engage in discourse and tell you that science tells this or this tells that or these things tell that. He never took humanity away from somebody, and that's I think the thing we have to realize as a culture, as a community, as a religion, as a country, as a state, as a city, as a every level that you can imagine.
As a village.
As a village. I like that. We have to stop taking people's humanity away from them in order to make a point in order to make an argument. Because the moment you strip that away, that gives you permission to do whatever the hell you want. Well, because they're not human anymore. Well, I can say all the things about them.
I can do what I want.
I can do what I want because they're not human. And it's a subconscious or conscious or even unconscious, varying levels of who's saying it. Well, you are declaring that you don't view them as human anymore. And because they're not human, they're subhuman, and that allows you to reach into your rhetorical discourse tool belt and start
trash bucket.
There you go. Thank you. Your trash bucket versus your actual human bucket. Yep. So you pull out of the trash bucket and you just start hammering away. You start slinging mud. You start slinging sewage. You just start slinging in it because, that's not a human being right there. That's a subhuman. That's someone I hate. They're vile.
But then,
what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
to borrow the R.C. Sproul comment, what is wrong with you people?
What is
wrong with you people? And the first part of his statement is, we don't know who we are.
He's right.
I mean, we don't. Also, his part of his statement was, we don't know who God is. But the first part of that is true. We don't know who we are.
We don't.
If you sit here, if you are in a seat or you're standing or you do it, if at some point in your day you dehumanize someone because of what they believe, what they practice, who they are, the color of their skin, the creed that they follow, the religion, like if you dehumanize them, you need to take a hard, long look at yourself.
Remember, we're all created in God's image.
Everybody is human. Everybody deserves that dignity, that base dignity of humanity.
They do, yep.
And that was stripped away from Charlie Kirk on Wednesday.
It was. And I want to go a little further even. The guy who assassinated him, we need to pray for his soul.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk would not want him to go to hell.
Oh, God, no, he wouldn't.
He would want him to be saved and want him to live out his life in Christ.
I think that is interesting because people are talking about, like, what would Charlie Kirk do in this situation?
That's what he would do.
I think he would reach out and he'd be like, okay, let's be humans to each other.
It's gonna be hard because
the mask is off for certain people on the left side of things, where it's like, I know who you truly are now. You might apologize. You might delete your Twitter account or X account now.
It's too late.
But the mask is off. You believed that enough to say it out loud on social media.
Yeah.
Now you might apologize. You might delete it, but we know who you are now, and I now question what I would get from you in a normal day-to-day conversation or engagement. I don't trust that you view me. I don't trust that you view me as human.
Yeah.
Do you view me
it's true.
Because I'm a conservative, because I'm a Christian? Am I a target now? Do I deserve to be shot at? Because I believe a good portion of what Charlie Kirk, because I watched Charlie Kirk videos for the last 2 or 3 years or more, because I've
watched him for 5 years. I've been watching him a long time.
Does that, am I now deserving of death? Mm-hmm. Do I deserve what I do?
Ooh, man, that's powerful stuff.
That's a question. Now, there's people out there who are like, oh, no, but no, the mask is off.
Yeah.
Some people, again, I'm not trying to say all, but some people believe, and those are the ones who are saying it out loud. Yep. The ones who aren't saying it out loud, that's the one I want. That's the ones I'm like, okay, are you really rethinking your position about this now? Do you really believe that Charlie Kirk deserved to die? Because if you do, you need to check your humanity. You need to look deep in your soul and find out what went wrong and what broke you. And you need to get some Gorilla Glue. You need to get some more cement. Yeah. You need to get something or a welding torch. And you need to heal your heart, because that heart is broken. Your humanity, soul, has been broken by something along the line where you view a conservative Christian person who speaks out and answers questions and engages. That's his crime. You view that as worthy of death.
I don't.
Look to your heart.
I don't get it, man.
Hard.
I just don't.
I think that's where I've been sitting in the last 48 hours.
I think me too. Like
I'm angry like you, but I'm not angry to the point, and neither of us are angry to the point like we need to do something like violent about it. No, that's not what we're saying.
Violence ain't the answer.
No, violence beget violence. It's not. There's no solution there. It's just a cycle.
Love will cast out hate.
Right. It's a cycle of violence that'll just drown everybody.
Yep.
But I'm going to be angry about it. I'm going to ask the question of, okay, cool. These are the things that I believe and that I did, that I was pretty similar to Charlie Kirk in a lot of things, I think.
I'm similar, yeah. Me too.
Does that mean that I deserve to die? Does that mean that I deserve a bullet in the head?
Think about that question.
And that's a question I would love to be answered by folks who formally espoused the belief that Charlie Kirk deserved to die. I'd be like, okay, cool. Do I?
Yeah, me too.
Because we believe similar.
My wife.
Yeah.
She believes the same thing we do.
Is that okay? Is it okay? Because if that's the case, I don't know what to do for you.
My son Adam?
Yeah.
But does he deserve to die too? Man,
and I think that's why people are so upset. They can't identify it, but we're being able to talk through it today, this morning,
exactly.
has helped me resolve where I'm at. Yep. Because the lady in the coffee shop this morning I was talking with, she was in the same boat. She felt like, I'm mad, I'm angry, and I can't shake it, because we're with Charlie Kirk. We believe we've watched him, we've read him, we agree with him. We sit in the same part of the camp as he does. Now we wonder who out there believes we should die, because
who's next
and what what does that mean? And so we've seen it, we know it, we know there are people out there who believe it, who supported this guy. We know there are people who supported Luis Mangoni, who killed the United Healthcare executive and shot him in the back in the middle of New York.
What a coward.
We know that there are people who are like, free Mangione, he was right. We know. We're aware of those people, and those same people are going,
think about it. So Charlie was shot at 200 yards.
Yep.
What kind of coward does it take
to do it from that
far?
To
take a man's life
and then run.
And run
like a scalded
what
dog.
A coward. Jesus, please save this boy. My goodness, please save this boy.
I would.
He needs to face the consequences for his actions.
Absolutely. Justice must be served.
It must be. Yep.
His heart and soul is a big concern.
Yep. My goodness.
Okay, so one thing I do want to talk about.
Well, that helped a lot, Aaron.
I'm glad. Here to help.
Man, that helped a lot.
So there is a comment. Stop it. Get away from
me. And there's a reason I don't look on social media anymore.
Yeah.
I have reasons.
Yeah. So there's one thing we do need to talk about. So one of Charlie Kirk's comments, because people are always seizing on like, oh, well, Charlie Kirk said this, he said that. Well, a lot of things they're attributing to him, he never said. But here's something he did say. So this comes off a website that I'm not going to mention because it looks like it is spam to the gills with interview with pop-ups. It still's true. So so he made a statement. I remember this. It says an old video of Charlie Kirk is never resurfaced, in which he controversially compared abortion to the Holocaust. So he's saying he says we allow the massacre of 1.5 million babies a year under the guise of women's reproductive health. We are allowing babies to be taken away and discarded every single year just by saying, they're not humans. So he also says you are using dehumanizing language, saying, oh, it's an embryo. No, that's a baby made in the image of God, deserving protection. It's never right to justify the mass termination of people under the guise of saying that they are unwanted. That's how we got Auschwitz. That's how we got the greatest horror of the 20th century. When one of the participants in the event questioned, so are you comparing the abortion to the Holocaust? He responded saying, absolutely I am. In fact, it is worse. It's worse. In another exchange, so that's part one.
Yes.
And I would agree. Now, here's the thing.
I agree.
You notice he didn't minimize the Holocaust.
He did not.
He said it was the greatest horror of the 20th century.
He did.
But but when you take abortion and you take 1 million plus babies a year since abortion's been legalized, that number is up into comparisons equaling the Holocaust.
Yeah.
And so...
And will become more.
Right. Yes. The argument he is making, like, logically makes sense. You are comparing numbers. You are comparing deaths. Yep. You are comparing... That makes to me, makes sense.
It does.
Because as a Bible-believing Christian, I believe abortion is wrong.
Yep. It absolutely
I believe that
is.
we should not be doing this because those are lives that are created, and then we play God and we take them away.
Facts.
Horrifying.
I agree with that.
So I think people are trying to get that as like, oh, well, he didn't minimize the Jewish Holocaust.
He did not.
He said this was bad. It was horrible. But he was like, but we have something as well that corresponds, in my view as a Christian, to that event and to that amount of death.
It's horrific. It's just as horrific.
So this is the one that also kind of we'll have to deal with here in a second.
Okay.
And this is the one that I think he got a little bit upset about because understandably they went for his kids. So in another exchange that has now gone viral, Charlie Kirk was asked if his own daughter at the age of 10 was raped and became pregnant. He responded by saying that the baby would be delivered. So the question was asked, so if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped and she was going to give birth and she would give birth, would you want her to go through that and carry her baby? Kirk was asked. Interrupting the question, Kirk said, I do have a daughter, and opined that the question was awfully graphic, which it is. It's really awful because they had to have known he had a daughter. Like that's not news.
It's not right. Yeah.
But then the reporter continued, no, but it's a real life scenario that happens to many people. And Kirk responded with, the answer is yes, the baby would be delivered. And he said, let me ask you why. Let me ask you a question. He said, the reporter, meanwhile, said, okay, great, that's so insane. Kirk also made okay, whatever. So he was making I think he was making a point of, as Christians, all life is sacred.
It is.
And
it absolutely is.
And this is a tough question because there's a view like rape is unwanted, rape is illegal, rape is a crime, and we do not disagree with that statement.
Nope.
Rape should never occur. Like that is without question
it's horrible.
But the question then becomes, if a child comes of that, is a byproduct of that horrifying, illegal, and prosecutable event that requires justice, should the baby be carried to term?
It should be.
And that's the hard question that people don't like the answer to.
See,
but Christ, I guarantee you, if you ask Christ, say, hey, Jesus, how you doing, bud? Oh, I'm great. World's kind of on fire, but hey, I'm here to help.
Burn into the ground.
Y'all are really setting things on fire, but hey, yep. I'm here to help. What do you need? Hey, Jesus, this thing happened. He's like, oh, that's horrifying. That man is marked for hell unless he turns his ways around, and you need to do justice because that's how your world works. Okay, cool. That's terrible. I'm mad. I'm angry at that man for doing that crime to one of my daughters of Christ.
Yep.
That's bad. Okay. What's your question? Hey, Jesus, we just found out, and just be like, oh yeah, I know she's pregnant, isn't she? So, oh yeah, because you know everything, God. Okay, cool. What do we do? There is no logical, theological standard in which Jesus would go, oh yeah, no, kill it.
He would never say that.
He would never.
Ever.
Jesus, Bible God would never be like, oh yeah, no, yeah.
He would never
don't
that.
carry it to term. Let's just, no. Just be like, I'm sorry, but life is life to me. And that life is precious. And that life, when born, should be supported, should be loved, and should be encouraged, and should be given a chance to live.
Facts.
And
I have a purpose.
Everything has, and as twisted and as awful as that crime is, I often make the case that bad things happen. They are not Christ endorsed. They're not God endorsed. It's a matter of we are the stewards, and there is a battle for our planet. There is a spiritual warfare, you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. Like there's the battle for good and evil continues every day on our planet. Columbine happened. It was a horrifying.
That was horrible.
I was a sophomore in high school. I was 10 to 15 minutes away at a high school near Columbine.
You were.
It was a horrible week, horrible day. No, but the outpouring of hope and kindness and compassion and came out of that was incredible. And so what often I will say is that bad things happen because that's the broken status of our world.
Our sin.
That is the nature of the beast.
Yep.
And so when something bad happens, that's the world. But what God does is he then is able to use that horrifying result
he does.
To turn it around and for his people to step in and find ways to help bring it back, to bring glory and honor to God through the actions of help, of being the helpers, of being the community, of
the hands and feet.
The hands and feet of God.
That's right.
That is our standard response.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who we are as Christians, we are to respond to the destruction and the evil in the world with full hearts, with full, as the kids say, full send. Like that's So
wait, what?
So when someone says something, someone says something, you're like, oh, I need like whatever, support me, and they're like, oh, full send. Like full send means full support.
Why don't they just say full support?
Because they like to shorten stuff, Chris.
But it doesn't make no sense.
Well, welcome to my world.
It's grammatically incorrect.
Welcome to my world. It's a great time. Everyone loves it. It's so much fun.
Say what you mean, people. Say what you mean.
Well, that's what the kids in their heads, that means what they mean. Anyway,
I don't get it.
I do, and that's the part of why I do what I do. So I understand some of it. So,
but if you think about it, if they're aborting babies, they are taking the same thing that was done to Charlie Kirk, and they are applying the same principle.
Yeah,
it's not human.
Yep, it's subhuman.
It's just an embryo. It's not alive.
It's a clump of cells. Is a common argument.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
And so, but I think that's the hard part for folks who are more liberal. To accept, because it's like, because they'll be like, well, what are you thinking about Black Lives Matter? I believe Black Lives Matter. I think it's important. I think, we absolutely need to confront that. I'm not sure why you're focusing in on certain check marks and litmus tests, but it's an all or nothing for Christians. Like, there's no like, oh, we don't believe in this, that, and this person doesn't matter. No, everyone matters. And I know people
I believe everybody matters.
Right, and I believe, and then people are gonna be like, well, you're just trying to like oh, all lives matter kind of. And guess what? That's what Jesus says.
That's what he says.
Christ isn't like,
he died for everybody.
Well, those Jededites, I don't like them. They're not in, but everybody else is. Oh, those Samaritans, they
lived over there.
They lived over there. I don't like them. No. Jesus it's all or nothing. That cross, that sacrifice, that death, that tearing of the curtain on the Holy of Holies, the earthquake, everything that happened on that cross was intentional, and it was meant for all. Ooh, the world got opened up to Christ. Christ was now like, everybody's in play, let's go.
Yeah, he died for every person.
He died for every person. So when people start being like, Christians, if you say, well, no. And it's not meant to be a like Black Lives Matter comparison. Like, oh, well, Black Lives Matter. And at least then people say, oh, well, all lives matter. That's not the statement. The statement is simply all lives matter. Yep. Every single one of them.
Yep. Period.
From Charlie Kirk to George Floyd to anybody in all the lives. Every single life in this world is sacred.
Facts.
And that, I think, sometimes even folks on the right forget. Because they're too busy politicking.
I agree.
And they're too busy trying to prove a point or to try and score points or whatever it is. I'm not here to score points. I'm not here to win awards. I'm not here to get the buzz or whatever you want to call it. I'm here to say this is the faith of the Christian church, and this is what we should be doing. Yep. And if we're not doing it, then what the heck are we doing?
I agree.
I'll rephrase that. What the hell are we doing?
That sounds better. That sounds a lot more forceful when you say it that way. I don't.
What is wrong with you people? This is the end of the closing of the podcast at some point here in the next 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes. I don't know, whatever. But what is wrong with you people? Yeah. What is wrong with you when you have to have a checkbox?
Oh, damn.
Christ doesn't checkbox.
Nope, he don't do that.
Christ form fills. He takes it all. He'll take all forms.
He form fills.
He form fills.
Man,
that is
good.
He's got a macro, and that macro
he's
just
got
form
a
fills.
Macro, bro.
Form fills everything.
Come on.
He takes you no matter what, and that means he would take anybody on the left, the far left.
Well, all your garbage.
He would take all of them. Every single piece of you, every part of you, he would welcome with open arms and say, come be with me. Let's change your life and let's live a life of glory and honor to the creator of the universe. Get on board. we're going shopping. Or I don't know, like the clueless driver's like, get on board, losers, we're going shopping. Get in, losers, whatever. Get in, losers, we're going salvation. We're gonna go do some salvation. There it is. There's your clueless.
We're gonna do some salvation.
We're going to do salvation. Get in, losers, we're going to salvation. Well, there you go. There it is.
It makes perfect sense though, because Jesus, we can't fix ourselves.
No, we can't.
We can't.
No.
No matter what you do, trust me, the past 2 weeks, I've tried to fix myself. Yeah. I can't do it.
Can't do it alone.
I said, Jesus, I need you. I can't do it myself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
So,
that was very helpful.
There's our Charlie Kirk conversation.
That was not what I was expecting, but it was good. It was good though.
I want to be clear, like righteous indignation has a place, and I think that's where a lot of us are right now.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to be very clear, as I've said in this podcast, righteous indignation should never equal violence. It should never equal ever equal dehumanizing your opponents or your people on the other side, or however you want to phrase it. It doesn't validate. Righteous indignation does not validate violence, because
God
violence
is not telling you to go kill these people.
Right. The God of the New Testament is the same as the Old Testament, but the God of the New Testament, they're both the same. Like people talk about different God. No, they're the same God. He was just as wrathful as he is compassionate. There is equal parts.
He's always been that way.
He's always been that way. That's never changed. Our interpretation of him, again, to borrow R.C. Sproul's, we don't know who God is. I think a lot of people don't know who God is.
Man, you're mentioning him a lot.
I love R.C. Sproul. Okay,
he's hilarious.
I'm gonna be a R.C. Sproul stan for probably the rest of my life, because the dude was funny, but he was real. And when he got asked a question that he was just like, and that's I will keep coming back to that clip. What is wrong with you people? And then people laugh. And he's like, no, I'm serious.
He did say
we don't know who we are, and we don't know who God is. And I think that rings true even today in 2025.
Yeah. And it was the look he had on his face when he said it.
He was just like, what is wrong with you people? Who are you? Why would you ask that question? Because what Adam did was beyond, was exactly what God told him. Don't do this, or I will bring heaven and hell upon you. That's a rough translation, obviously. But he knew the risks. He knew the consequences, and yet he still did it. And then somebody has the temerity to ask R.C. Sproul, do you think it was too much? He's like, what? No!
Do you think it was too much?
It wasn't enough. This is, again, a paraphrase, right?
No wonder he said it that way.
He was just like, what is wrong with you people? Because R.C.
It was just punishment.
It was just, and he didn't get what he deserved. Now, it was visited upon future generations like crazy.
It was.
But the response of God was very different than what it should have been. And I think people forget that. They forget that God was merciful to Adam and Eve. He could have wiped them from the planet and started all over and been like, default, problem.
That's my Jesus there, man.
And I think that's the message of Genesis sometimes that gets a little bit lost, is that people are like, God is always wrathful. Yeah, but did he murder? Did he eliminate Adam and Eve? Did he wipe them from the face of the earth out of wrath and wrath and all? No.
He could have, but he didn't.
But he didn't. His reaction is not what we would expect if we studied that whole first couple of chapters. So,
man, Jesus is awesome.
Jesus, he is. He's good people, and we have a lot to learn from him. I don't know how to close it. My heart is still heavy for Charlie Kirk.
Oh, mine too.
My heart is still heavy for this country.
We miss Charlie.
We do. I think we're going to miss his voice. There will be others who will step in. Ben Shapiro has made a comment this week that he was going to pick up the blood-drenched microphone and continue.
He said some choice words too.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro was definitely not Charlie Kirk.
He is not.
Ben Shapiro's a lot. He can be a little more coarse sometimes.
He's coarse.
I like
him.
I get a kick out of Ben Shapiro. It's interesting because Ben Shapiro was clearly Jewish. Charlie Kirk was Christian.
Yeah.
So that dynamic will be interesting to experience.
This talk has helped me, Aaron. It really has.
I'm glad. I'm good. I'm glad that has helped you, and it's good that it has. I think it's helped me as well, but it's also it's quantified my feelings and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling.
Yep, me too.
Because there's something wrong with our world. And there's always been something wrong with our world. We're a sinful world. We've been broken since Adam and Eve did their stupidity.
Sin, bro.
But we've fallen so far to a point where assassination is supported by some in our country. Yep. And not just like everyday Joes, like people who have authority over others, who have power, positions of teaching over others that and I think that's why the reaction has been so blatant when people are just like, no,
this is not cool.
This is not acceptable. This is not who we are. When R.C. Sproul, again, I come back to that man a lot today.
He is awesome.
When he says we don't know who we are. I think up until this moment, 48 hours ago, we truly didn't know who we were.
No.
We now know. We are not, we know who we are. We know we are a people who won't tolerate the assassination of a good man.
Yeah.
There are others who will.
A husband and a father.
I think that has been very clarifying, that we know who we are, and we know who those individuals, again, I'm not going to assign them to a group, but we know who those individuals are.
Yeah.
We are very clearly aware of how they view humanity and how they view the value of humanity and the human spirit and the human soul and the human heart and the human being. They did not view Charlie Kirk as human and deserving of that base level of dignity of life. They believe he deserved to go. And that is something that every single person in this country needs to sit in for at least 15 minutes at a minimum, if not longer. Because if we're okay with that,
that's terrible.
What's wrong with us? What is wrong with you people?
What is wrong with you people?
You don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And you don't know who God is.
That's a fact.
Charlie Kirk knew who God was, and Charlie Kirk knew who he was.
He did, for sure.
Do you know who you are? And do you know who Christ is?
Ooh.
That's the last thing I got to say on that one, because otherwise I'm going to start yelling again.
Yeah.
I wasn't yelling. I was very firmer than I've been in a while.
I actually enjoyed it to see that you believe the same way I do. That was awesome.
This is not going away. These feelings, they're not going to be solved tomorrow.
Nope.
Because like my emotions, as I've talked about it, they're still there. They're not going away. There's that, when you're not close to crying, but you have that lump in your throat that kind of is up and down, kind of as you go through the day, or you go.
I do.
It kind of just, that's where I've been this whole podcast. Is that lump in my throat has gone up and down and back and forth, and
that's how I've been for the last 3-4 days.
So it's one of those things where to borrow the comparison. Obviously, September 10th, that's when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. That's when the Evergreen school shooting occurred. Both horrifying incidents. I should say that clearly, incidents, not accidents. They were incidents. They were intentional incidents perpetrated by two absolute horrible human beings who visited violence upon people in their lives.
We're going to call them human beings.
Yeah, they are humans.
They are human.
They are humans. They are evil. And darkness exists in their hearts.
Yep.
But it's September 11th. So the next day, that Thursday. Was it Thursday? No, it was Wednesday was September 10th. Thursday was September 11th. Okay, got it. I'm there. We were both alive for September 11th.
We were.
And so coming off of the Charlie Kirk and the Evergreen shooting, and then coming into September 11th and having to reflect on the memories of that day, we didn't know who we were on September 10th, 2001.
Nope.
On September 11th, 2001, we knew who we were.
We did.
We were Americans.
But why does it take a tragedy for that to happen? Why?
Because we're complacent.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's easy to just kind of not care.
It is.
To be apathetic about whatever's going around in the world, and we just don't pay attention. Or we get sucked into the invective, and we get conditioned to believing that, conservatives are not human, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then when one of them actually gets shot and assassinated in
the worst way,
in cold blood, in front of like thousands of people, thousands of students, in front of his wife and children, like we suddenly get startled and we get woken out of our reverie. We're like, whoa,
what in the world just happened?
And now we have to grapple with the consequences and the feeling that comes after that, and it's grief. And grief isn't easy. Grief is a monster.
It sucks.
We've both lost people in our lives.
I hate grief.
And there's moments where we're fine, and then memories will come back of that person, and we just kind of go, okay, I got to sit down for a second.
Yeah.
I think...
they flood back.
Yeah, they do. There's not a... The lock on that door will get busted open several times in our lifetime.
Yep.
And that's okay. It's what you do with those emotions that saves the day. It's how you handle that grief and how you channel that grief.
Yep.
I think we are collectively grieving Charlie Park as a group, as a people, and we don't know what to do with that grief.
Yeah.
Some people do. I mean, his wife is clearly saying, we're on mission. We're not stopping.
But that's where I think I'm at now is, okay, Lord, what do you want from me?
Right. What do I do now?
What do you want me to do?
How do I respond? How do I bring you glory and honor and praise
exactly
in the midst of this moment? And I think my base response, based on my theological and understanding of the Bible, is it's the Mr. Rogers kind of idea that he says, look to the helpers.
My man Fred.
Look to the helpers, and that's who you follow.
Yeah.
And so I think in this time, it's important to support people, to ask them how they're doing, and to listen. And you may not agree with what they're saying. You may find that they believe certain things, but being Christ to those people, being Christ to those around you.
Yep.
Righteous indignation is important, but righteous indignation does not need to take the face and the look of rage or anger or angry videos or whatever whatever that it's out there. It's you, as Christ asks us to love our enemies, like love those as you would love yourself or me. Like, we got to love folks from all corners, from all sides, from all political leanings, of all beliefs, because that's what Christ did. He loved all. He, there's the famous message from I can't remember the guy's name. He was on those videos that I watched from Kyber's Corner, whatever it is, and it's the old sermon. The man in the middle said I could come. The man on the middle cross said that I could come, because the thief gets to heaven, and they're like, okay, well, what do you believe about this? He's like, I don't know. Well, then why are you here? Well, the man in the middle said I could come, and at its base, that's what Christianity is. Christ died for your sins and said you can come as long as you believe through me. And that's the thief on that cross, is he believed in Jesus. He accepted his Savior, and Christ said, as sure as I am here today, I will see you in heaven.
Think about that, man. He didn't do anything.
Right.
He had nothing to give him.
But he believed, and he looked at Jesus and said, okay, I believe in you. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm on it.
Man,
I'm sold out now.
From this day, you will be with me in paradise. Darn.
I'm getting a little emotional talking about that, because
that's powerful. That's all of us, man.
Because there's been a lot of conversation around Charlie Kirk's family and supporters. Is like, well, Charlie was a Bible believing Christian. He was unapologetically Christian. We know where he's at. We know that he's in heaven.
Thank you, Jesus.
And that's a powerful message.
Yep.
Salvation is a powerful message and a powerful testimony to someone's life, that Charlie Kirk lived a life of Christ and lived a life of Jesus and lived a life of Bible.
It's beautiful.
And that's the thing. Like I said when I was trying to close this up earlier, because we're still going, Charlie Kirk, he knew who he was. He knew who God was.
So who are we?
Yeah. So who are we, and who are you, and who is God to us?
That's right.
That's your closing question. Think long and hard about that.
Exactly.
Because it's not an easy answer sometimes, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's just like, right, that's what it is. Okay, cool. Gotta get going.
You gotta wrestle with it.
Let me get my gloves on. Let me get my shoes on. Let's go serve some people. Let's get some Christ on.
That's right.
But that's always a question. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. We're finished. This has been the Mad Monks Podcast, a name to be determined, which may change, probably will change, as Chris was talking off air. I'm sure he'll brainstorm something exciting.
I'll come up with something. I think I've got a couple, but I want to rest in a little bit more.
Okay, we'll do that. Until next time, do you know who you are? And do you know? That's it. That's our close. That's every week now. I got it. It's R.C. Sproul's inspired. Do you know who you are? And do you know who God is?
Facts.
All right, that's it. Bye, folks.